Alright, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. I've tried to film this video multiple times and I keep going off on tangents because it is actually super irritating to me, but regardless, dude. Henry Cejudo versus Marlon Vera is set to take place, UFC 292, Boston, right, August 19th. I would imagine it's going to be the featured bout. This card is unbelievably stacked. We got Aljo, Sean O'Malley, main event, most entertaining women's champion by a long shot, Zhang Wei Li, facing off against Amanda Lemos. Again, I would imagine this will be the featured bout. Then we also have Jeff Neal versus Ian Gary. Right, this pay-per-view is looking phenomenal, but there are some things about it that are driving me crazy, and this is why I keep going off on tangents and then ending up having to stop recording and try again. Okay, because this is an extremely fan-friendly matchup, and I'm very excited for the fight because it just is, dude. Henry Cejudo always comes to fight. He hasn't had a boring fight in a good while, right? Marlon Vera, same. Whether he's winning or losing, has not had a boring fight in a good long while. I think it's a very fun fight, and I'm very excited for it. But I can't help but thinking about Corey Sandhagen in this situation, and I don't understand what this man has to do to get a goddamn title shot, okay? Or to even be considered for it, or to be in a number one contenders fight, or something along those lines. Why is it that Corey Sandhagen and Marlon Vera face off in March of this year, and Corey Sandhagen beats the brakes off of him dominantly, okay? Despite what the record may show, I understand it says that it was a split decision. That is garbage, and I covered this in a recent video where I said that the one judge should be thrown off of a rooftop, okay? Because he should be. He butchered the scoring of that fight. It was 4-1 at worst. You know what I mean? So Corey Sandhagen gets rewarded by having to fight a guy eight ranks below him in Umar Nurmagomedov, a guy that essentially nobody, or seemingly so, nobody wants to fight. Whereas Marlon Vera gets to fight the guy that just lost a very close decision for the title, that is an Olympic gold medalist and a two-division champion in the UFC, and somebody that if you go out there and you beat them convincingly, is very easy to argue a title shot in your favor. Not only that, because Sean O'Malley is one half of this most recent title picture, if for some crazy, unbelievably forsaken reason, Sean O'Malley manages to get the job done against Aljamain Sterling, or somehow manages to go to a decision, right, not get finished, and Aljamain Sterling has already said that he will be vacating bantamweight, and if Chito Vera, this is a long shot, but if he's able to beat Henry Cejudo, they'd make that fight. Even if Corey Sandhagen goes out there and starches Umar Nurmagomedov, they would make that fight. I just don't get it, man. You know what I mean? I don't. And especially because the fact that this fight has been put on UFC 292 makes me think that, well, just in case anybody pulls out, now we've got two guys we can throw in there. The problem is that neither of them are really deserving. Whereas Corey Sandhagen has to fight 2 weeks before this, would absolutely not be ready to step in on 2 weeks' notice after what will probably be a pretty hard-fought fight against Umar Nurmagomedov, right? In a fight where a lot of people think is a bad stylistic matchup for him. And he just has to sit out and wait. I mean, what does he have to do, man? Since his loss to Aljo, he got two spectacular finishes in a row. He lost two very close decisions, one of which, in my opinion, he pretty clearly won against TJ Dillashaw. And then he got another finish after that. And then he beat Cheeto. The guy's been on a tear. And he's just quiet. He just doesn't say shit. And that's probably why, right? He's not a big personality. Like Sean O'Malley. Like a Chito Vera. Like a Henry Cejudo. But this is... It's mind-blowing to me, man. Because now Corey... he's never going to get a chance to redeem himself against Aljamain Sterling. And it doesn't seem like they're even considering him for a title shot anytime soon. Because both of these guys, right, or both of these fights, Aljo and Sugar Sean O'Malley, Henry Cejudo and Marlon Vera, they're both going to be coming off of fights at the exact same time. Their schedules will align perfectly for who is next. And Corey's will too, because it's 2 weeks before. But I would imagine they're going to go with the winner of Henry and Cheeto, or the winner of or like versus the winner of Aljo and Sean, and it's bullshit, dude. At least I think so. I would imagine a lot of you think so too. Like, what the fuck does Corey Sandhagen have to do, man? What does he have to do? Like, if you fucking, I would almost guarantee, sure thing, I would bet a lot of money that if Umar goes out there and beats Corey Sandhagen convincingly, he will absolutely get a title shot off of that. Whereas if Corey Sandhagen goes out there and he fucking starches Umar Nurmagomedov, he might not get a title shot for another year. Like, what the fuck, dude? How does Cheeto get rewarded? Because he looks cool. You know what I mean? And dude, trust me, I love some Cheeto. I love Cheeto, dude. He's dope. I love his tattoos. I love his personality. He's just a cool guy. But he hasn't earned this shit, man. And fuck, dude. It bothers me. It bothers me. I feel for Corey Sandhagen. And, you know, he's just a bad motherfucker, dude. He's just keeping his head down and doing his business. And I can respect that, but you got to advocate for yourself a little bit, man. And I'm sure that he'll say, so if he goes out there and beats Umar and he's at the press conference, he'll probably say that he thinks he's next in line. But I would imagine he'll be quiet and respectful about it the way that he normally is. Man, it is very shitty. But it's still a fun fight. And I'm going to try and not let that fact ruin it for me, right? So let's talk about the fight a little bit itself. Henry Cejudo, I think, has handpicked his opponent. I think that's what happened. I think if you were to put Corey Sandhagen and Marlon Chito Vera beside each other, and you asked Henry Cejudo, who do you want to fight? He would pick Cheeto. Reason is because Cheeto is way fucking easier to control on the ground than Corey Sandhagen. We saw Henry Cejudo struggle with Aljamain Sterling, and I don't mean struggle in the sense that he wasn't able to get takedowns and things like that, but he wasn't really able to control him. You know what I mean? And even some of the takedowns and scrambles and things of that nature were either won by Aljo or were seemingly a very hard fought battle for Henry for Henry to wind up on top. I don't think that that's going to be the case against Cheeto. We've seen him get controlled and taken down by much shorter guys. Now, nobody as short as Henry Cejudo, but nobody with the wrestling credentials of a Henry Cejudo. You know what I mean? Frankie Edgar, up until that front kick, was winning, right? Jose Aldo beat Cheeto Vera by taking him down and controlling him on the ground. So I don't see why Henry Cejudo won't be able to. You know what I mean? Because while Cheeto might be, I think he's about half an inch taller than Aljamain Sterling, standing at 5'8" tall. You know, he's a long dude, relative to the bantamweight division, obviously. I don't think that that's going to matter because he doesn't have the mass that Aljo has. He doesn't have the grappling credentials that Aljo has. He doesn't have the takedowns that Aljo has. He just doesn't, man. And he's also a very slow starter. So his reactions are shit in the first few rounds. You know what I mean? Whereas Corey Sandhagen is 5'11", which is very tall for bantamweight, and is not easy to control on the ground. He scrambles like a fucking maniac. The only person we've really been able to dominate and finish him on the ground is Aljamain Sterling. And we've also seen what he does to shorter guys that want to fucking wrestle him. You know what I mean? Frankie Edgar, right? Like, I think this was a hand-picked opponent from Henry Cejudo, and I think that he did a good job at hand-picking him, because I think that Cheeto needs a fucking Hail Mary type long shot, like, to win this fight. And he's got to do it before the fucking third and fourth round. You know what I mean? Or the third round in this case, because it's not a main event or a championship fight. That favors Henry even more, too. Cheeto needs that 5 rounds, right? He comes on very late in the fight. A third round for him is like, he does have a finish in the third round. Probably more than one, but if you let Henry Cejudo get ahead on you like that, I don't think you're reeling it back in. And I think that Henry's going to have no problem taking him down and controlling him, and I think that we will see some, retro Henry Cejudo ground and pound like we saw at the beginning of his career. Because Cheeto's going to be unbelievably easy to control compared to Aljamain Sterling for Henry Cejudo. And I think that even in the striking realm, if Henry does what the fuck I told him he should have done. Now I know obviously he's not going to watch any of my videos because I've only got 600 subscribers, which reminds me, like and sub, I'd greatly appreciate it. But against Aljo, I did a video breaking down some fight footage of him throwing combinations, kicks and punches before his kick even hits the mat. Like, he's very quick. His striking did not look the same against Aljamain Sterling. Maybe he was rusty. Who knows? Man, this is a perfect opponent for him to come back to get a win from. And I feel for Corey Sandhagen, man. I can't get that out of my brain. I keep going off on tangents about it. That's literally what I've restarted this video 5 times. It just bothers me, man. But regardless, I don't see Cheeto winning this fight at all. Which is unfortunate because I like Cheeto. And it would be cool to see him and Sean O'Malley have a rematch. So maybe if they both lose, they can do a rematch in there. As long as Corey Sandhagen gets the next fucking title shot if he beats Umar Nurmagomedov. That's all I gotta say, man. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. How you guys think this fight will play out. If you think Henry's just going to wrestle fuck Cheeto and control him on the ground. He only really has to for 2 rounds. And as long as he doesn't get knocked out, he wins. Or do you think Cheeto's going to pull off what should probably be an upset? I don't know what the betting odds are as of right this second. And let me know what you guys think regarding the whole Corey Sandhagen situation. Do you think he's getting royally fucked? And that Cheeto's getting some Dana White privilege, or what do you guys think's going on there? Or do you think Henry Cejudo got to handpick his opponent, and the only person left for Corey Sandhagen to fight in short order was Umar Nurmagomedov, unless he wanted to wait fucking half a year for his next fight? Anyways, dude, like and sub. I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.